Now imagine, again, this whole show is about solving kind of annoying problems in our house. So we've taken care of expensive laundry detergent. We have now made your ironing a whole lot easier. And now how about those sewing jobs? Now I have to say, probably back when my mom was growing up, certainly my grandmother, they did a lot of hand sewing. But today with clothing and da-da-da-da, what do we have? We have rips and tears and, you know, where's the needle? Where's the thread? Well, imagine never really having to use that and getting the same results. And that's the brilliance behind Liqui Sew. It's been one of our longest running products here at HSN, and I think it's always so popular because the darn stuff works, and I'm a big devotee of it. Our collection includes everything you see here. And what's really neat is when they first launched this, they didn't have things for synthetics, and so now they have a version for synthetics. This is your traditional Liqui Sew. Now you also have two of the Liqui Sew on the go. Those are empty applicator bottles, so if you're on the go and you have to hem something real quick or a tear, you've got it. And then I love this, you get 4 of the hem clips to go along with it. And Vonabelle rejoins me. And look, you've got sock puppets. I love that.
and one of them is peeking through. Does your laundry pile look like this? Do the kids go, oh mom, I got a hole, and you're last minute and they want you to fix it? Well, take a look at this one. I fixed this one. Where is it? Suzanne, where is it?
Oh, I thought that was a brand new sock.
I know.
Oh, that's too funny. I don't see it at all.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Isn't that amazing? So here we are. You can go from this to this and you can't even see it. So let me show you how you do that. You do it with Liqui Sew. I'm gonna turn this inside out. Liqui Sew is a non-sew sewing solution. You don't need a needle or a thread. You don't have to look for the right color or the right size needle. You simply take Liqui Sew. Now it goes on white. It looks like glue, but it's not. It's an all-natural fiber solution. So I'm gonna take this and I'm using my to-go bottle, which is how I suggest you do it when you get this home. Don't work from the big bottle. It's so much easier to work from your to-go bottle, and you get more than one of them. And you know why?
Because you don't need much. My biggest mistake when I started using Liqui Sew was I really dumped it on there, and I realized you need so little to make it work.
Yeah, you need so little. So here's what I'm doing. I put it on now. I'm gonna pinch it. I'm gonna pinch it, and I don't have to worry that it's on my fingers because it's all natural. It won't hurt you, and it doesn't stick to your fingers. It only sticks to fibers. So now when I push this, I'm telling it to link and lock. I'm telling it that the fibers are going together, and that's how you get to that other position of having something that is sewing without a needle and thread. See, now that's what I'm doing on my sock right now. I'm creating fibers with the solution, and it goes clear. When it's dry, it's clear. It only goes on white so you can see what you're doing, which is great. Now, would you just look at the table for a second? All these decorations, you see that this added on your shoe? It was Liqui Sewed. Do you see this detail on this mat? That was Liqui Sewed. Come up to the pocketbook. You see this decoration here? It was Liqui Sewed on, not sewed. And there are certain things that you can't sew. Let's say you get a hole in your jeans right here in your pocket. How are you gonna get that under the sewing machine? You can't, but you can fix it with Liqui Sew. Let me show you how. So I'm gonna take a patch, just any old patch, you know, some kind of blue jean or other, it could be anything because you're gonna see it just goes together. I'm gonna put some Liqui Sew on there. Remember, it's white, but it dries clear, and it is not glue. It's an all-natural fiber solution. Then I put it under here, and then I push on it, and I push those fibers together. And then pretty soon, I have a fix on that. Now
and then that white will go away.
Yeah, the white will go away, it'll just dry. And I fix that without having a needle or thread. There's another problem here. Again, jeans are so hard to fix. You'd break your sewing needle if you went to do this. So I'm just gonna apply Liqui Sew. And then when I press it together, it's telling the fibers to go together. So you push it together, and what I need to tell you is, after it dries, it's permanent. And then after 24 hours, you can wash and dry it, and it's still permanent. So this is a permanent sewing solution, but you don't have to go look for the right color thread. And look, here's one more on these jeans, Suzanne.
These jeans been through a lot.
They have. So the belt look broke. Okay, how am I gonna fix that? You know how thick that is. I'm gonna take my Liqui Sew. I'm just gonna put a dab there, and I'm gonna push that together. And when I do, it's telling to link and lock. Those fibers are coming together as if I'm sewing because there's fibers in that solution. And then after a while, it's together, and I will be able to wash that, and it will be permanent.
And you can actually put a belt back through there because you're thinking, well, yeah, it's on there, I guess. But no, but it's really going to work again. For me, it was a mom lifesaver. When my son was growing up, you know how kids are, they grow up so fast and they get so tall so fast. So we had to buy special khaki pants for Ethan for his school, right? Well, he'd grow out of them like in 3 months. months, all of a sudden they'd be high watered. And I go, well, let's cut them off into shorts. So I would take his old khakis, I'd cut him into shorts because we could still wear them in the spring at school. And boy, I'd pull out that Liqui Sew, and it's something bizarre. It actually creates a really beautiful, sharp hem. I'm not quite sure how it does that, but it works awesome. And I'll tell you what, my son used to run in those, this is when he was in elementary school, and play and be at recess, and I'd throw them in the washer, throw them in the dryer, and we just kept using them and using them. And I always marveled at how long it lasts. Like, you keep thinking, oh, come on, I never
it's gonna
used
come apart.
It's gotta fall apart.
Yeah, it
and
doesn't.
you know what? It never did. And so how many of us have that? You've got the pants that need to be hemmed. Maybe you've got a whole laundry basket of skirts and clothing that you've tried to take and, oh, I should hem those someday. But who even has a sewing machine or who gets them out anymore? Just use Liqui Sew. Also, too, I think if you're the type who you don't want to sew, but you do have the rips and the tears, and you're like, well, I'll just leave it in my closet and I'll get around to it, or somehow I'll take it somewhere to get repaired. Get Liqui Sew. You're totally independent. You don't need any of that anymore.
Yeah, and if you can't sew anymore because you can't see the eye of the needle,
that's a good one.
You know what?
Yeah.
What a perfect aid.
Great
if you're
point.
a little older and you can't see, and here is not far enough, forget the needle or the matching thread. Many times you can't thread the needle, but you also don't have the right color thread, and if you use the thread you had, it would look crappy.
Yeah, right.
But here's link and lock. So when I put in Liqui Sew into that rip, it creates a fiber and makes a joint, just like as if I used a needle and thread. Now, Suzanne talked about hemming. That's a huge money savings. And by the way, it's hundreds and hundreds of uses you're getting in the bottle. So this was hemmed with Liqui Sew, and look at how neat that is.
It's really sharp, by the way,
Yeah.
and that happens because of Liqui Sew too. It's
yeah,
weird.
and then you get these clips. So the clips are going to help you measure it and then hold it in place, and that's part of the kit. And it has imperial and metric on it. So you know, when you're measuring, okay, how much do I want to take up, half an inch. So that's a great feature. Now, how about if you have pets? And the pets rip apart the pillows or the pet beds.
Yeah.
And again, well, could I not have to take out a needle and thread? And do I have green or khaki thread to even do this?
Try to sew that, it still wouldn't look neat.
No,
it's going to
wouldn't.
look bulky and weird.
Yes.
Like, you'll see where you've sewn it, actually.
Yeah, you would. You would see the thread. So watch what happens when I put Liqui Sew in here. I'm going to rub this right on here on both sides of the edges. And then I'm gonna push it together and I will be done. It would take me longer to go find the needle and thread, the right color thread, or a needle than it is for me to put this on here and push this together. Now I'm pushing it together, and don't forget that's an important part of the process. When you put it on, push it together, because you're telling it to link and lock. You're telling it to sew without a needle and thread, and it's together. It's together.
Isn't that crazy?
Look, and you can't even tell where that is. It's just part of what it looked like.
You don't see a big, bulky, awkward stitched area. I've done all that, you know, where you're like, okay, I'm gonna stitch this up and it looks really bad. Or you try to go inside and out, do a chain, that looks bad. Or you get a machine out. Even if you got your sewing machine out and stuck it under there, it still wouldn't look like it did originally. Yeah. Because you couldn't get inside it. That Liqui Sew, done.
Yeah.
And like you said,
I know we're running out of time,
gosh.
but let's
Anybody
mention
in the
this.
military, their husbands are Boy
military,
Scouts?
scouting, all of that. Moms, how do you do this? I know I've tried, and the needle pokes my finger trying to get through there. Instead, all you do is put a little Liqui Sew on the back of whatever patch you want, put it down, and you're done. It will be dry in 5 minutes, and you're done. And you look like a hero because you got on the patches before the rest of the kids. And if I was sewing this, where would I get that color thread or a needle strong enough? You can't. That's why Liqui Sew is your rescuer for all kinds of projects.
It's a total mom answer, I'm telling you. Total. Now, we have 2 flex pays, if you notice in the bottom of your screen. That is for a limited time. And it's really, you know, I know sometimes when you watch and you're like, that seems like it's impossible. Like, how could that be? Well, number one, it wouldn't be on for basically more than a decade if it didn't work, right? If you hated it, we wouldn't have it on the air, but it does. And if you want to use flex, this is an awesome opportunity to be able to do it. Yeah.